again, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. Surprise, surprise, my second batch of eyeshadows from Devinah actually came the very next day. So, we're going to be doing another palette building video today. If you saw the last video, I explained where I got this eyeshadow palette, this empty eyeshadow palette, and why I chose it. It's from All One. I think that's how you pronounce that. Got it on Amazon. And so today we're just going to jump right into building the palette. But before we do, I just want to say, Devinah actually sent me one incorrect shade. I ordered a shade called Grunge, and they sent me a shade called Grinch instead, which is understandable. The shade names are very, very similar, so I definitely get it. This is an indie brand that we're talking about, and they, process the orders themselves, pack them themselves. So it's understandable that that kind of thing might happen. Grunge and Grinch probably look very similar written out. I mean, not probably, they definitely do. Okay, let's get into this thing. I am going to be putting the Grinch shade in the palette today just for the purposes of this video, but I placed another order with the brand, just a small one, to get Grunge for real this time, and just a few other shades that I really liked. And I put like a little note, because you can put a note on your order. I put a little note to say, hey, please make sure I get Grunge this time, because last time you sent me Grinch. Like, I was nice about it. I wasn't like a Karen or anything, but anyway, let's get into it. So the concept for this palette is a little bit more like a cool nighttime scene. Lit by the cool moonlight. So there's going to be a few more shimmers in this palette. I'm pretty sure there's more shimmers than mattes. So the first shade is Plated, and it's a shimmery white. Gonna pop that right there. The next shade is a matte eyeshadow called Nas. I'm not really sure why it's called Nas, but it is. I really liked these lavender shades. Because they almost lean into like neutral wearable territory while still having like a purpley sort of a tone. This one is called Kazookles, and it's a beautiful shimmer. So this top row is gonna be more soft colors, lighter colors, which is kind of what I did with the last palette as well. And then as we go down, the colors will get deeper, kind of lighter over here, and then darker here. Anyway, the next shadow is a matte eyeshadow in the shade Kaia. it's satisfying, like just seeing them pop into place like that. Honestly, that top quad is so beautiful. I'm so into that. Let's move down to the next row. The next two shades are both going to be multi-chromes. This one, wow, is like so freaking beautiful. This one is called Marama or something. I guess that's how you pronounce that. Before I pop it in, I just want to like, wow, that's so pretty. It's got like green and like purple shifts. It's really beautiful. Just gonna pop that one there. Oh, I should probably show you. This next one is Thermosphere. And it's another gorgeous multi-chrome. But this one is like a blue purple. I think it has like some kind of pinky. I don't know, it's really, really beautiful. Just gonna pop that one there. So, as you can see, we're starting to switch it up a little in terms of the tones. This one is really shifty and beautiful. Like, I'm kind of surprised that this is not a multi-chrome because it's so intense. It's called Skyla or Skyla. I'm not really sure how you pronounce it. It's probably Skyla, but I always want to say Skyla. Look at that. This is such a beautiful shadow. Look at the shift. Wow. Wow. It's so beautiful. How nice is that? Then the last one in that row is another very cool toned matte called Suki. This one also feels a little bit purpley. Or, you know, looks a little bit purpley. But as you can see, it's much more muted and neutral. Moving down to the bottom row. This is going to be the deepest matte, at least as the palette stands right now. This one is called Adorn. Again, when I get the correct shadow, when I get the correct shadow, I will put it into the palette instead of the... This one is correct. I don't mean to imply that this one is wrong. This one is very much what I intended. But I was just saying that that's currently the deepest shadow in this palette, or the deepest matte shadow in the palette. That was not my intention. There is another shade that I just reordered called Grunge that will be the deepest. Anyway, this one here, I'm talking too much. This one here is a beautiful shifty shadow called Mystic Moonpie. Look at that. I think it has like a cool brown base, kind of like that, but it has this silvery shift. It's really beautiful. Oh wow. And then it looks like it shifts kind of purpley. Wow. I did a good job picking these shadows because they all complement each other very nicely. And just like with the last palette that I designed, I wanted this one to be, I wanted to have the option to either go more neutral or more colorful. Okay, obviously This is the Mistake shade. This one is called Grinch. It was supposed to be Grunge, which is like, at least based on the pictures, it looks like it is more of a charcoal gray, like a deep charcoal gray, almost black. Clearly, that is not what this shade looks like. This is just a matte green. It's a beautiful color, and I'm glad to have it. But it does not complement this palette, or at least in my opinion, it doesn't complement the palette. Then the next one, the last one, is a metallic black called Midnight. And I wanted a metallic black and a metallic white for this palette because the vision basically was of like the idea of this palette was like the moonlight shining, you know, on like the, why am I pronouncing on that way? Shining off of the dew, or even like the frost in the night, you know, like, so I wanted everything to have like a sheen. I wanted everything to be kind of shiny, so that's why there's more metallics than mattes in this palette, and that is why the white and the black are both metallic shadows. I do have one more palette this size that I designed, and I started buying the shadows for, because the way that I did this was the first day of the sale. I wanted to make sure I was going to get all the shadows that I really wanted. I designed 3 palettes and then picked 2 to buy all of the shades for. The first one was this one, and I was able to pay cash for this one. I was able to just buy it outright using my debit card. And then this one here, this one I did not have the cash on hand to buy it, so I put it on a credit card. And then that was kind of going to be it. I knew I had the concept for the other palette, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do the 2 for now. And maybe I'll make the other one later down the line. Then a little bit of time went by, and I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I should, you know, if I'm planning on making the other palette, I should try to take advantage of the sale. So I checked back. 5 of the 12 shadows that I wanted for the palette were sold out. So I was like, okay, maybe I won't do it. And then I waited another like day or 2, and I was like, you know what? This is stupid. I should just get them all. They're on sale. So I bought the 7 shadows that were still available, and the same 7 were still available when I went back. You know, like, they didn't sell out of more of them or anything like that. So I bought the 7 shadows that they still had in stock, and I bought another one of these empty palettes. So I have like the first 7 shades of that palette coming, and then when the other shades that I really wanted for that palette come back in stock, I will buy those as well and finish that one. But I also, now I'm going to have 4 other shadows. This one, and then 3 other shadows that I just ordered that I guess I'll just put into a quad, and then, you know, I'll put Grunge in this palette, take Grinch out and put Grunge in, and this palette will be finished properly. But anyway, I'm just going on and on. I hope that you guys like this palette. I mean, obviously this one shade does not go, but just imagine like a charcoal gray there. And that is the concept for this palette. That is the palette as a whole. I'm kind of wondering if I should switch these two now that I'm seeing everything laid out. No, it's fine. I think I'm going to leave it. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this, and seeing you guys again very, very soon.